Hello, Girl Scouts of Wilderness Road. As you know, I am Laura Gruen, if you watched my other videos on the Facebook Live feed. I work in the Lexington office. I work in the camp department. My title is Outdoor Program Coordinator. I just like to tell everyone that so when you come to the office, you'll know who to look for when you're asking about camp. But anyways, I am here at Hissel Farms in Lexington, and we're going to be doing a nature walk here, more of a nature, like talking about nature, because Michael and I have already walked like 1.5 miles to the spot. But we chose this spot because there's some bat houses behind me, and we're going to try to talk about those for a little bit at the end of this video. I wanted to talk about wildflowers, but I guess it's still pretty early in the season and they're just not blooming out here right now. I know they bloom a lot at Raven Run, but since it's closed, I couldn't get out there, so I had to do this place instead, which is a really gorgeous place. So if you ever get a chance to come here, and I'm gonna move over here so you can kind of see the trail. This area, they have, most of the trails are like this. So it's just a very wide, it's out in a field, and it looks like they just mow this trail for people. There's like 3 miles of hiking here, maybe over 3. But a lot of trails interconnect, so you could probably, get 5 miles in or something if you do a couple loops. But yeah, it's a gorgeous place. There's a lot of like growth here. So if you look over here, we have some like younger trees that are growing, and we have these plants, but they look like they are still a little bit dead from the winter. I had to come back this summer and see all the colors and see what these plants actually are. But tonight, and this is pre-recorded, so you can still leave comments and questions, but I wanted to pre-record it because I figured the internet would be a little bit spotty. But so yes, it's actually Thursday evening and it's around 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to talk kind of fast because it's going to get dark soon. Yossi's here with us, of course. So that being said, you can bring your dog out here. They asked for you to put them on a leash. He's really good about staying with us, but we probably should have him on a leash. But we like him to run free and get exercise too. So we're gonna talk about a couple things. Let me get my notes out. Okay, so I'm going to come closer to you so you can hear me. All right, so I guess the first thing that I want to talk about, actually, so I don't know if you've been listening to the background noise, but there are a lot of birds chirping. So birds are very active in the morning and the evening. So if you ever want to go bird watching, that's when you're going to see most of your birds. And I have a pair of binoculars at home. I don't know where they are right now. We just moved and our house is kind of messy, so I'm not really sure where everything is, or else I would have brought them out. But Michael and I have seen a ton of red-winged blackbirds, and if you listen, you can hear them going off in the background. So that being said, we're going to talk some about birds. All right, so this is going to be interesting holding all this stuff myself. All right, so I have this lovely bird book. I've had it for a while. It's really great. It's small. It's super easy to follow. It has actual pictures in it. There are bird books where they have drawings of birds, which is also nice. And, the drawings are really beautiful. There's some great artists that are part of those books. But I like having pictures because it's a little easier to identify for me. I can see the details better. But this book is pretty cool because if you zoom in here where you get the map, So that's the United States. And if you notice, there's colors. So get close to it again. So there's different colors. So the yellow color, that means that the bird is popular during the summer range. The green color means that it's popular it's all year round. So you're going to see them in your area all year round. And then the blue is when you'll see them in the winter time. So this is actually a bird that I was going to talk about. So first we'll talk about some birds that you would see possibly in your front yard or your backyard. So this bird right here is the American goldfinch, and this bird, you see it all year round. So on the map you find your state, so Kentucky's in green, and so you know that you can find this bird all year round. And then if you look at the bird, there's two different birds. So one is a male and one is a female. The male is right here. The male has a more bright yellow color. It's very bright, vibrant. And then the female has a more faded yellow, more gray on her. It seems like that is a pattern with birds. If you're trying to identify birds, the ones that are more colorful are almost always the male birds, and the females have more like brown and grays. And Yossi just
has a turkey.
Yossi just found a wild turkey, and he is, yeah, it's flying away and he's running after it. So that's why you keep your dog on a leash. I'm so sorry. But you know what, he's doing his thing. So yeah, so that's the American goldfinch. And then okay, page 28. I wish I could actually show you all these birds instead of pictures, but yeah, we're just gonna have to do.
You have to be very lucky to find them when you're actually recording.
Yeah, it's hard to get close-ups with your phone too. So this is called a house finch. So we're looking at a picture of a female house finch. You will see this bird all year round. And as you can see, the female house finch is, you know, it's more of a light brown color. And then up here it has a small picture of the male, but we can go to page 16 so we can actually get a close-up. So there is our male house finch. And I rarely see the males. I always see the females at our bird feeder. All right, and then all right, good. I'm gonna go back to 15. So this is, I'm sure y'all recognize this bird. This is the American robin. And this bird, you're also gonna see it all year round. It sticks around all year, winter, spring, summer, and fall. And it looks very, very similar to the female. The only difference that I can really tell with it is the female might have a little more white down here under its feathers, like where the tail is. And the male looks a little more, it looks more puffier. It looks a little more, just looks a little bigger. But the female's on page 46. And so the female she looks a little more slim. And then there's like white underneath her right there. So I think that's where you can tell the difference, but they're very similar looking. And then here's a pretty one that I think we all enjoy seeing, is the blue jay. So here's our blue jay. This one is also seen all year round in Kentucky. And it doesn't have a picture of a male or and a female. So I'm guessing that the male and the female look exactly the same. So, because it usually has, you know, two pictures of both genders. So, yeah. But that's a bird I always love seeing. And here comes Yossi. All right. So another bird that I know we all like to see is So the Kentucky state bird, which I don't know if anyone knows, but if you guessed the cardinal, then you were right. So I'm sure you've all seen a cardinal, but if not, here is your northern cardinal. And this is a bird. Yeah, this is a bird that I love seeing this one in the winter in the snow. It's so pretty, that red with the white snow. They stick around all year. This is the male. It's all red. It's very bright, vibrant. And then the female is more of a brown, but I still think the female cardinal is really pretty. Its beak, I think its beak is really pretty. It makes it stick out. But we had a female cardinal at our bird feeder earlier today. So yeah. And then two of my favorite birds are the indigo bunting and the red-winged blackbird. So that's a bird that we were talking about earlier that we saw flying around this area in the fields. So they really love open fields. And I always notice them like when I'm driving out on a country road. I always see them out there. I'm trying to find the picture of it. Okay. All right, well, there's the female at least. The female looks really different from the male. So it is, I mean, it looks like a totally different bird. It's all brown.
It looks a lot like the house finch.
Yeah, it looks a lot like a house finch. So you could, I mean, I could definitely see you getting those two mixed up. And I just think it's funny. It's called the red-winged blackbird because there's like no red on it. But the male, it will make sense when you see that one. So that's your male. And they have that nice, pretty red on like the top of its wings. But they're starting to get quiet now. So yeah. And then real quick, let me go over woodpeckers real quick, because when we see woodpeckers, we think they're all, I mean, maybe not everyone, but it seems like a lot of us think they're all the same, but there are a lot of different woodpeckers. So we'll touch base with like 3 different ones real quick. There's the red-bellied woodpecker. Let me get on that page. So this one, I think this one is so pretty, but this is our red-bellied woodpecker, and this is another bird that you will see all year round in Kentucky. Here's the male. What you can notice, like the difference between these two, they look really similar. They have the same pattern on their back, on their wings, but his head is completely red on top. And then if you look over at the female, it looks almost the same, right? But if you notice, she has a gray spot on the top of her head. So her entire head is not red like the male. So that's how you can tell them apart. And then